What's up guys, today we are going to be playing PC Building Simulator. This game has been out for quite a while. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head how long it's been out. I'm pretty sure it's close to 6, maybe 7 years. So what I plan to do today is do a bit of free building. Which workshop do I want? I want actually we'll just go with the basic one. Yeah, those other 3 workshops are DLC. So we'll wait to load into this. Okay, apparently I can't power that on because it hasn't got any friggin'. So as you can see, when you first boot into free building, generally there's 1, 2, 3 computers that are already pre-built with a benchmark that usually pops up here. So what I plan to do, yeah, that's a bit overkill. So what I plan to do is build my PC. So it's not going to have the exact case for it because mine's an Acer. Actually, do they have it? No. Oh, Jesus Christ, wrong thing. Whoopsie. A bit of bloopers and outtakes for you. Yeah, generally what I want to do with this channel is I'm going to try not to cut out certain sections. Like, the only time I'm really going to cut out something is if it's a game I'm playing that's going to take like a long time just to do the one thing, like generally grinding sort of games. I do plan to bring a variety of games to this channel. Yeah, other than that, like, that's pretty much what I'm planning, like. But we shall start with this game and see how it goes. I'm trying to find a case that's very similar to mine. Let me have a look. No. Ugh. Hell no. You know what, that first case was pretty similar. Because mine sort of got that sort of bit at the front. Alright, so we'll take off this side panel, take off the back side panel, take off that. I do have another save file in this game, but I would rather just do a little bit of free building to start off with, and then sort of start a campaign from scratch, so you guys can watch how the different levels give you new items, new equipment, that sort of thing. We need to open drive bay. Where am I going? All I need to do is hit inventory. Dickhead. Yeah, so my motherboard is a very simple like, they don't have my exact motherboard, but these cheap nasty ones are probably the closest I'm gonna get to it. Actually, yeah, we'll start off doing mine. So I'll just, yeah, let's put a cheap nasty. So my processor is a Intel processor. It's an Intel i5 9400. what, which is a decent budget processor for gaming. Like it does the job. Like ideally I'd like to have an i7, something like a 96 or 9700, but at my budget limit at the minute I can't really afford that. So get this one because okay, why can't, I need to be in working on the PC to be able to do it. I've been playing this game for quite a while now and I still screw things up. Alright, so motherboard's in. We need to open the CPU shield to open 2 clips because I do have 16 gig of RAM. So processors, Intel Core i5, and it doesn't look like 9. Okay, so that socket's incompatible. So we're gonna have to do so we need a Coffee Lake motherboard. So we'll get rid of these cables. I'll unplug that, unplug that, close that so we never can remove that. So I need to find a motherboard. Coffee Lake. So we just need something very basic looking. That looks pretty basic looking. What is the difference with different chipset? We'll go this one. Yeah, the motherboard in this is probably one of the cheapest motherboards you could possibly buy. Like it doesn't even have the function in the BIOS for overclocking the RAM, which is completely bullshit because I'm running 2666 megahertz RAM and it can't even run at full capacity, which is a pain in the ass. Another thing about this stupid piece of shit PC is I have no case fans. The only fan I've got is the CPU fan, which is literally dirty cheap. Like the only money I'll spend on this is a RAM upgrade from 8 to 16 gig because the original setup come with 8 gig. So Intel Core i5 9600. That's probably the closest to mine. So we'll pop that bad boy in there. A lot of people are actually scared of when they first build a PC of not so much lining up the CPU, it's how much pressure is actually used to lock it in there. Like you've got to give it a bit of force. Like it's not just, you're not just going to be able to push it lightly down with one finger. Like you've actually got to give it a little bit of force to actually put it in there. And a lot of people are scared because they think, oh, is the CPU lined up, and start second guessing themselves. And then when they actually put the lever down to lock it in, because they've second guessed themselves and actually readjusted the CPU, about 50% of the time they've actually, when they've re-put it in, they've actually lined it up wrong when they had it right the first time, and they end up bending the pins on the CPU and end up pretty much stuffing it. Like, it's pretty much a paperweight at that point. So also, when you are applying CPU, always remember to put thermal paste on, otherwise your CPU will run hot as dog balls. Don't need that. I need cooling. Intel. No, they don't have any of them. So we're just going to go the shittiest. That is probably very close to what I have. Like, it is a very basic fan. So we'll go to memory. Go to vengeance. ENGEA and NCE. I'll help I learn to spell. Let's just find something that's similar. So I have Vengeance Route. I don't know the exact brand of it. I know it is Vengeance, but I don't know off the top of my head without actually pulling the side panel of what it is. So that's roughly the sort of RAM I have, but at a 2666. So, and it looks like they've updated the game because this is new. Because I haven't seen that before. That I've seen. That I haven't seen. Yeah, they've updated the game since I last played this. Either that or I just haven't noticed. Team group. Yep. I am very basic knowledge when it comes to building PCs. So do not take anything I say on this series as any sort of advice. Basically, if you are unsure, consult a professional. Like, I'm still very beginner stages of learning myself how to input parts into a PC, basically how they work, where certain cables go, what parts work with what. That is new. I have not seen that, but yeah, basically, if you get stuck, consult an actual PC builder / IT. Like, don't just take to heart what I'm saying and basically, oh, he knows what he's doing. Basically, he's done this before. He's done that. He's done this, and basically, you end up breaking something and blame me for it when it's not my fault that you've listened to what I've said and think that I know what I'm talking about when it comes to computers. Like, I honestly don't. Like, some things, yes. Like, I know bits and pieces about everything when it comes to computer building, but I'm nowhere near an expert. So if I am wrong about something, like, feel free to write in the comments below, correct me. What I honestly don't mind. It helps me learn. It helps you guys learn. So yeah, other than that, we'll get back to it. I need to find something similar. Where is it? Thing is, I would use this Corsair RAM, but this cause of vengeance, but it is way too much millihertz for what I have. So I'm going to type in 2066, and most probably that is going to be the closest looking wise to what I have. So we're going to put that in there. 260. Yeah, when it comes to inputting RAM, basically you put them in pairs. So basically it'll be 1 and 3, 2 and 4. Basically don't put them next to each other, because generally what the computer thinks, from my experience, is there's only one stick of RAM in there. There's not two, because they're designed to work in 2 channel. So basically 1 and 3, 2 and 4. And also, if you tend to put, like, if you are for the first time putting RAM in and you know how to put it in, basically if you go through your task manager, it's only coming up as 8 gig. It means that you've got it in the 2 and 4 slots, not the 1 and 3. Now, I don't know which is the 1 slot. Like, it took me a little bit to find out. Like, on my specific motherboard, it's right next to, so it's this one here, right next to the CPU. Other motherboards could be different, I don't know. But yeah, generally it is 1, 3, 2 and 4. So you may be wondering why I've removed those PCI covers. It's because I'm going to be running an SLI, which is, I don't know what the terminology means. It's also known as a crossfire. Like, depending on the motherboard, the graphics card setups, etc. So we've got the CPU in, got the CPU fan. Basically that's hooked up, got the RAM in. So that's that. So what I'm going to do next, I don't really need to remove this, but I'm going to anyway. Alright, so next thing I'm going to do is my computer, I'll come back to the graphics card. So my computer has a 2 terabyte hard drive. So close that. It also has a, if I can find it, SSD. It also has a, I don't know the exact brand of what it is, but it has a, we'll just go where it has a, I can't remember if it was a 256 or a 512 gigabyte SSD. I'll put that one in because I can't remember exactly off the top of my head, but it does have an SSD in it. Basically, rough terms of what the SSD does is that basically if you need to transfer stuff that's on the SSD to the hard drive, it transfers very fast. Like, compared to just transferring something, like say for instance you download something, you want to put it in there, like it generally take X amount of time, but if you put it on that and then transfer it, it's a shit ton quicker. Don't quote me on that because I'm not, to my understanding that's what it does. If anyone could tell me the exact terminology, yes, like I really can't be stuffed looking it up. Like, honestly, literally just could not be stuffed. Okay, so hard drives in, SSDs in. We need a power supply. Now, interesting thing about English. Interesting thing about my specific PC is, and you actually find this a bit funny actually, because my PC having an i5 and the graphics card it has, I'll tell you what it is in a minute, only has a 250 watt power supply. Which, that kind of stunned me when I pulled the side panel off, because I didn't know the internal specs of it. Like, I knew roughly, I knew it was an i5 processor, X graphic card, but it didn't have on the specs that I was looking at what the power supply was, which was a bit strange. And when I actually opened up the side panel and actually had a look at the power supply, it's an FSP 250 watt. Like, I was a bit thrown back, because I'm thinking, hang on a second, like, i5 graphic card, like, how is a 250 watt running this? Like, it should honestly crash. But apparently it works fine. Like, alright, so as you've guessed, it has a 1060. It's 1060 or 1050? I can't remember. One of the two. Must be a 1050, because they're a 4GB graphic card. I need that is the closest one. This is not the exact one. Mine is actual a NVIDIA card, which is technically a VGA, but I also don't have I don't think it's a 1050. I think it's just a standard TI. I think it's just a standard 1050, but that's legitimately the closest, because mine's only a single fan, not a dual fan. So we'll put this one in. Put that one in. I think that's it. Just done. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's basically my PC in a nutshell. Although my case is much smaller, you basically got next to no room to bloody work on shit inside it. But this case is the closest thing to my case, except my case is a bit scaled down. So what we'll do is we'll pop in a USB, power it up, go into the BIOS. So we're in the BIOS, so we've got an i5 9600K, which is roughly what mine is. 4600 millihertz CPU speed, which is a 4.6 gigahertz. 16 gig of RAM, 2 times memory channels, 2666 RAM speed. So yep, that's right. I can overclock, but don't really want to. Settings, boot on that. So let's see what this game thinks of this setup on a benchmark. So for those who don't know what a benchmark is, it's basically, it's a stress test, but it's not. Like, it tests, basically puts a full load on every component of the computer. So it puts a full load on the CPU, the RAM, and the GPU, which is the graphics card. So it puts a load on all three of those whilst running a very graphically intensive video, and it will see what frames per second it's doing, and it will basically grade you a score. So this generally takes this specific one on this game takes about a minute and a half, give or take. takes about a minute and a half. It goes through 3 different scenes, which tests different parts of the computer. So the first one is, I'm pretty sure CPU, and the second and third is to do with RAM slash GPU, or graphics processing unit. And as you can see, this 1050 Ti is doing absolute garbage. Which is surprising, because when I benchmarked my setup, I was averaging 25, 30 frames a second on ultra. So ultra level graphics. And that wasn't even overclocked. Like, once I put the overclock on it, it was running about 30, averaging about 32, 35. Alright, so the CPU score is amazing at, well, for what this setup is, it's 58, 68, so almost 20 frames a second. So we've got graphics test 1, 13.19, graphics test 2, 10.99, at a graphics score of 1966, which is absolute freaking garbage. Like, for this setup, you can run almost 100% of the most popular games at medium settings. So you still get a decent like graphical layout. Like, there's not really any sharp lines at a medium setting. Like, I'm currently running options. So I'm currently running medium quality at technically a 4K resolution. Well, round about a 4K resolution. And like, the graphics aren't too bad. Like, I can easily stream at 1080p. Like, anything above 1080 it starts to lag-ish. Like 1440 it lags a little bit. Like 4K, just forget about it on this setup. So that is my, well, rough PC. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put him here. What is in this one? That's just a case. So now I'm going to show you guys a rough setup of what I want. So I'm gonna start off with a mother. No, we got to start off with a case. So I want a ETA X. Oh shit. ETAX E dash T A ETA. So actually, now let's just go through the case and see what they got. Like, obviously I'll most probably be picking a different case when I get around to it, but I'll just pick something on this game that I like. Let me have a look. And that's the thing, like, me, when it comes to cases, like, I don't really want to, actually that's not too bad. I don't want an overboard case. Like, I just want something that's gonna look decent, like bit of RGB in it. Like, I don't want it overboard. Yeah, I don't mind this. It's MSI case. It's got a nice little dragon graphic on the front. What else? Yeah, got an MSI logo on the back. Yeah, we'll do this one. Remove the back panel, remove that. Front panel. Remove the case fan. Remove the drive bag, remove the PSU cover. We'll just get rid of this shit for the minute. So we've got a pretty empty case we're working with. And like honestly, like with how, so like, I'm honestly tossing up between like personally getting a air-cooled PC or a water-cooled PC, because the air coolers they've started to bring out these days can pretty much run the same airflow as a water-cooled system. So I'm honestly tossing up between it, because like if I ever did want to change components in the computer with a water cool, like I'd have to be really careful not to get water on the motherboard or other components in the case. Like air cooling does seem safer to me. Like don't get me wrong, I love some of the setups of water cooling. Like some of the water cooling setups people have, like they are amazing. Like I've seen some of the new stuff what the Origins come out with, like their monster of a water cooling PC. I think there's like 4 different graphics cards in it. Or I think they're water cooled graphics cards. I'm not sure off the top of my head. They might be just standard. But yeah, that setup looks freaking insane. Like I love all the RGB work they did with it. Like it is just ridiculous how nice that PC looks, and like the gaming power that comes out of that PC is just intense. Like it is just like that would easily run any game at 4K. Like easily. Because I'm pretty sure that has a 2066 socket CPU in it. Off the top of my head, I think. Alright, so i9. Right, so like they do have 10,000 CPUs that they've brought out, so they're X series, but they don't have them in this game yet. So basically the Intel X, so basically the most powerful they have in the game at the minute, not really the most powerful, basically the most performance that it can give. Like you'd honestly look at something like that, oh, it's got 4500 megahertz, but have a look how many cores are in it compared to this one. Basically, the more cores basically means the more load can be spread out across the CPU, and the better it's going to perform. So, for that specific thing, right, it's 44 at 14, it's 44 at 16, it's 44 at 18 cores. So we're going to go 9980XE, which is the LGA 2066 socket. So we need to find a motherboard that has a 2066 socket. Preferably one that's got a decent amount of millihertz. That's a 44, that's a 44, that's 4000, that's 4133, it's 42, it's 44,000, blah, 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 blah. So I think we might go this one, because they do like black on a lot of stuff. Then it's got the nice little Aorus, greyish, pinkish sort of metallic accent to it. The weird thing I found about these specific sockets is they've got two 2 push downs, or whatever the fuck you call them. I don't know. Yeah, I found that, like, I get because of the size of the CPU, but like, do you really need it? Like, honestly, and the funny thing I like about this specific motherboard is it's got 8 RAM sockets. So this is just like dream PC shit at this stage. Like I'm going to overkill the shit out of this PC. So you can crossfire this, which is basically 2 graphics cards. Right, so motherboard's in. So now we need our processor, 9980 XE. Close that down. Close that up. Only thing is, I've never been able to get this CPU below I think like 46 degrees Celsius. 120, 130, 140, 150, 160. Alright. Let's go liquid cooled for this build. Quid. That doesn't fit. That doesn't fit. That's incompatible. 130, 130, 145. Let me just see, 150 CF. Yeah. None of them fit, of course they don't. 145. So I think we're gonna have to go 130 for this to be able to fit in this case. So I'm going to go with this one because it's RGB. So apparently that's the only place it can go, so that's what I'm putting it. Okay. Damn, that's shiny. Alright, so memory. What was it? 4400. The only thing I don't like is these 4400s only come in 8 gig. I wish they came in 16, so you could do 128 gigabytes of RAM. But nah, you can only dream. That's RGB. That's RGB. I think I might go the Patriot Viper Steel series because I really like the look of that. I really do like the look of that RAM. So we'll put these in. So they're in. Alright, so next I'm just gonna go overkill with this and put some SSDs in it. Not that you really need them, but storage SSD. So so yeah, there's 2 different types of SSDs. Basically, that one, which is a standard SSD, and then you got an M.2 slot SSD, which is smaller. And apparently they go up to 2 terabyte, apparently. So we're just going to put a couple of them in. And it matches our motherboards. That doesn't fit. Of course it doesn't fit. Alright, then apparently we're not putting that in. So we're just going to put a couple of 512 gigs in. Close that. 512. Put them in. Oh, we got another one. Got another one in. Did not see that third M.2 slot. Alright, so pretty much the motherboard's done except for graphics cards. So 80 Ti. So let's just go 11 gigabyte. Alright, so we got it's a 1080 Ti, 1080. So yeah, gonna get this one because it's matches our case. Plus, I like their breach that they put over the GPUs. So yeah, pretty much Aorus. Like it's pretty much a bit of a theme here. So storage. Oh. Storage data. Okay, I can't fit that. TV. Terabyte. Okay, so apparently I can't choose what I normally put in it. Can't put Seagate Barracuda 4 terabyte. Ah, that's why, because I need to put a drive bay in. Drive bay. And apparently I can't put the drive bay in because the water cooler's in the road. So we're just going to leave them out. Screw it. We'll just leave them out. So I need something that's going to run this. So we're just going to go overkill. Put that in. So that'll automatically cables for me. You can't do that in the career mode until you unlock it with a certain level and then basically buy it. It's a little bit unfortunate, but nah. Is that a... That does look like an SSD slot. Let me see if I can actually put it in there. 120, 240, 960. Do we have any? The 1 terabyte. I think 1 terabyte's the biggest we can go. That is an SSD slot. Cool. Can I fit another one in? Is the question. No. Okay. So that's that. Graphics cards are in, power supplies in, cabling. So what I'm gonna do is get rid of all this shit. Just gonna unplug it all. Unplug everything. SSD, I think that's everything. Yeah. Alright, so what I'm going to do is cabling. Gotta pick a color cable. And we got rainbow. We got cyan, duo cyan, duo blue. And we got, yeah, could do white and blue. Could do blue, yellow, red. Could do, what have we got? Black, green, white. Red, blue, black. purple ribbon, plastic stripe, black, blue. Actually, I like them. I do like them. They actually don't look too bad. Although it doesn't really accent the case, so what we're gonna do, right down the bottom, type plastic red, type plastic pine pink. We're gonna look for, we've got something that's got red, black and red, yeah, that works. That works. So we'll run all that. Yeah, that definitely works. It does accent the case quite well. Okay, so we need to put a case fan in 120, 69, 53, 65, 83. You basically need the highest CFM possible because of this CPU. Alright, now let's boot her up. Alright, so CPU temp 3330. Oh, it's not bad for a CPU temp. I won't mess around with that for the minutes. Supply changes restart. Because it's a real. It's kind of a pain in the ass to overclock CPUs in this. Well, technically in real life too, because basically you've got to make an adjustment. Jump out of the BIOS, boot up the computer, stress test it, then if it doesn't give you the boy screen to death, then you got to go back into the BIOS, which means turn the computer off and on again, basically kicking it up another notch and doing it over and over and over and over until you basically either fry the CPU or you get the boy screen to death, and then you just go back one, and then you've got your overclock. But there's a lot more that goes into it, to like getting like the safe level for an overclock and that sort of stuff, and which I have no idea. Like I know, like I would say that I'm okay. I emphasize okay at overclocking your GPU, because I have set up an overclock on this GPU for gaming in my personal time, like not really while recording, because I would like to have the games that I'm playing for you guys to run at a without a risk of crashing, which I had this crash just before I started recording, so I had to reboot up the game. So I thought to myself, alright, I'll take off the overclock just to be safe, and it hasn't crashed again, so I'm liking that. Okay. Oh, that's what I need to install, the USB drive. USB drive, power on. So let's boot this up. We'll install the GPU tuner. We'll install OCCT, which is a stress tester. Install this. Screw it, we'll install the lighting as well. Because that is a decent amount of lighting. That's pretty much it, really. We need to restart. So we shall run a base stress test. So we'll go infinite, just to let the power draw build up to its max point, because generally they don't build up to the max point in a automatic test, which only runs for about 30 seconds. Well, technically about 20. So CPU, GPU number 0 and GPU number 1 are running at what they're supposed to be at, roughly around 63 degrees Celsius. Our power draw is still climbing. What are we at now? 490, 500, 510. I'm just curious as to what this power draw should be, around 650. I think. It might be 700. 695, yeah. So around 700. So I generally keep this running when I open up the GPU tuner, because it puts a max load on the graphics card. So when I start messing around with okay, apparently you're not going to do it this time, are you? You're not going to want to do it this time. So I generally start off around the 50, around the 50 mark. Generally start from the 50 mark, so that should jump to about 70. Yeah, about that. Go a little bit more. You basically just want to keep going until either your power draw craps out or your temps are getting a bit too high. Generally, you don't want to go above, like, honestly, you don't really want to go above 90, because it starts to get a little bit hot then. But generally with something like that, you generally run out of power draw before you run out of temp on something like a 2080. Why is this not letting me? Oh, there we go. There's a crash. So we'll back off a little bit. We'll back off to 115. So we'll apply that. Start that. No, I don't want an automatic, I want an infinite. Try that and see how that does. Yeah, see, it's already starting to crank up the memory clock a little. Generally, the memory part of it, yep, there we go. The memory part of it doesn't usually increase the temperature as much as the core clock. You can already see, basically, it's already sitting at 50 on idle. Apply. I wonder if lowering the current draw. What are you going to sit at? It's 95. lower that a bit more. Should we go by 1? 4, 94. Oh, no, I want an infinite test, you dipstick. Oh, shit. I don't know what I've done there. Obviously, it's running too little core voltage. No, I don't want that. I want this. So let's put that back up to 15. Get that back up, run that. Yeah, generally you don't want to go too high with your core voltage because it can... Basically, the more voltage you go, the less it's gonna let you overclock the GPU. 13, 12. Yep, so I can only go 13%. Without it crapping out on me. So we'll put it up to 120. So that's pretty much the clock for the GPU. So it tells you here you got 44, 100, 70, 70, 70, 67. So we got about just over 100 out of each. It's not too bad. Like, it's a 6% overclock, which is not too bad. So we'll run an infinite draw just to double check this is running. Because the last thing I need is for it to crash during benchmark. While I'm doing that, I will select all lights, rainbow. So now what I've done is, oh, hang on, I gotta apply it. Oh, there we go. Now it's multicolored. Get rid of that. So it's running, yeah, pretty decent. Generally, the second one will run a little bit cooler. It's not drawing as much as the first. I'm just gonna see how much power draw this thing has. Basically, every GPU and every CPU will be different when it comes to overclocking. Like, there's no two that are the same. But you'll never get two perfectly identical parts. Like, just because they're like, basically metal is unpredictable. Like, unless it's 100% of a certain metal, like, it can be unpredictable. So running at 939 watts, which I am happy with that because we did use our full thing. Alright, so we'll run a benchmark. We're at 47.5. Should generally get around 48.5-ish off this CPU without an overclock. It's going to sit at 48.3. So this is where we're going to see a bigger number, because generally with these cards on generating a 5-6% of a clock, you're generally running 150 plus. But different cards will produce different results. So it's all pretty much basically about what you can get out of the card. So this one should run about 141, 142, which this should pop up as around about a 15k benchmark, maybe a bit more. Like they're not overly dramatic numbers. 22,000. Yeah, it's not too bad. 22,008. So we go times by Hall of Fame. All 4 times SLI is 20. 18 on a 2 times SLI, which I technically have just beaten it with that like 22,008 score, and I've legit just beaten it with a 2 times SLI. Like what? Like how? And like these people are only using 7980 XEs. So let's go two times GPU, right? So go 2 times GPU, and people are only getting 18,000. Let's go 3D Mark Vantage. So see, here's the numbers you're looking at. You're supposed to be looking at. So we beat the Time Spy. Time Spy Extreme. We even beat that. The Time Spy Extreme CPU. Yeah. So yeah, we pretty much beat the Time Spy and the Time Spy's Graphics Extreme. 3D Mark 11, it's 34 with 2 times SLI 2080s with an i9 7980. Yeah, so we beat those 2, which I wasn't expecting to even get on the board, like top 10 wise. Which is fair enough. So basically, you got a shit ton. You basically, once for testing servers, your remote benchmark, your Android benchmark, probably standard, your VR benchmark. There's quite a few of them. Like, there's not too many. So yeah, that's pretty much an overkill build. That's missing cables. What are you missing? So connect them up. This, I know it's got an incomplete case. What have you got in you? So I'm on a 60. Data, keywords, streams. So what is this case? It's got a 22,932 benchmark. Just a little bit more than this one. That's 2,183. Yeah, got a nice HyperX mic there. What is that? It'll be Razer. Oh no, it's a Razer Thresher Blue. Yeah, you can change all your peripherals and shit. And basically build some ridiculous PCs. Like the amount of parts in this game is just ridiculous. And they're still updating the game. So what do we got here? These are the ones I have in storage. So this one's a water cooled piece. So I'll swap that one out. So this one's water cooled. If I power this on, go to the BIOS. Gonna die on XE. So it's 4.77. Says CPU's actually been overclocked by me. But that CPU temp is not ideal. I don't know why it's telling me that much. Honestly, don't know why. So let's just see if this thing will even actually boot. I don't think it's even gonna boot. No. I honestly don't know why it's not even booting. So let's see if I can't bring that temp back down. Go back to 4400. While I change the restart. Go back into BIOS. Yeah, it's 60, 67. So like honestly, if I really wanted to, like I could just keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Like I could keep going. Like. That's 88. How much will this one go up? Still going. Still going. Still going. 300. So 26.4. How much voltage can I put through the system? 2.5 volts. So I recommend don't go above. So let's just see for shits and giggles what this does. This is probably going to be stupid. 17,000 degrees Celsius. Fair enough. Alright. So we shall clock this down. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Turn down the ratio. Turn it down to 1. So we'll go 300 on that. 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, blah, blah, blah. Keep going. We'll go 45. Let's see what that'll do. That shows me 93 degrees. So we turn that down a little. Apply change, restart. Shows me an 85. Okay, I don't know why the RAM speed is showing me that much, because this motherboard can't even take it. I don't know why this game is glitching out. Oh god, it's gonna take a while. Turn this back down. Keep going, keep going. I'll put that on 50. I'll turn the ratio up and see what that does. Okay, so that's going to go to 88. That, see what that does. This is running at 112. There's the RAM speed. 2280. I don't know what this thing is doing, but go back to 4400. That should by right run at 67. Okay. I don't know why that's... Go back to 44. Turn this back up. 80, 90, 100. So we'll apply that and restart. Ow. No CPU fan, I've just burnt out the CPU. Alright. Okay guys, that'll do for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed this little, oh, pretty much just piss fart around inside this game. Well, it's actually not a bad game. Like when I first looked at it, like I honestly thought, like, do I really want to play this? But once I bought it and had a bit of a mess around in it, like it does give you a better understanding about like what goes into a computer and how it runs to an extent. Like I would not use this program, nor have actual ITs recommended this program to build your first PC. I'm sure plenty of people would say the same thing, because it is not 100% accurate. Like it doesn't show you where certain cables goes, like certain aspects of it, like it doesn't really go into detail. But honestly, yes, I would recommend this game to somebody. Yeah, other than that, like, I hope you guys enjoy. Like, if you did enjoy, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to get notified of when I'm uploading next. I am going to try to upload on at least once every couple days, once every 3 days, something like that. Like, I will try. I can't promise anything. Like, my lifestyle is pretty busy at the minute, but I will try. But yeah, like, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, you know what to do. Smash that like button, etc. And I shall see you in the next one.